Hello everyone, welcome to Family Sunday. Today we're doing our story and Family Sunday all as one video. So if you've been looking for that story video, don't worry, it's right here. It's just going to be one video. Today our story is about the lost son or the prodigal son. Sometimes he's called one and sometimes he's called the other. This is another story that Jesus told. Jesus said once there was a man and he had two sons. The man was a rich farmer. He had lots and lots of land, lots of animals and lots of servants to help him. One day, one of his sons, the younger one, came up to him and said, "Dad, I wish you'd die now. Then I could have my inheritance. All the stuff I'm going to get after you die, I could have it now." Well, the poor dad felt very sad about that. The son said, Can I have all the stuff that I would have when you die? Can I have that now?" "Yes, all right," said the dad. And he divided up his stuff between his two sons, and he gave half of everything he had to his younger son. His younger son was a silly man. He moved into the city and he had party after party after party. He spent money here and he spent money there, and before long he didn't have any money left. He wasn't really sure what to do, but he thought, "Oh, maybe I should get a job now. If I get a job, I'll earn some money, then I can have some more parties." He thought to himself, well, I worked on my dad's farm. I could do something like that. And he asked around looking for a job and finally found one taking care of some pigs. These pigs were yucky and dirty and a bit gross. But the son worked hard, and then when he got his pay, he realised it wasn't enough for a party. It wasn't even enough for a nice dinner. In fact, it wasn't even enough for a loaf of bread. He didn't know what to do. He was hungry, his belly was rumbling. He worked all day the next day, but he still didn't have enough money. His belly kept rumbling, and in the end, he started eating the pig's food. It was all he could afford. He thought to himself, "What am I doing? Why am I here? If I went back and was a servant on my dad's farm, I would be paid well. I'd get 3 meals a day. I'd be doing so much better." He thought to himself, "My dad doesn't want to see me, but I've got to do something." So he packed up his things and he went on the road, ready to go home. He was planning in his head what he was going to say. "Dad, I'm not worthy to be your son anymore, but please will you let me be a servant here on the farm? Please, I'll work hard." He was still thinking over what he would say when he saw the farm at the end of the road. There was a man outside. He was far off, but it looked like his dad. The man was looking round, looking down the road. He saw the younger son. He lifted up his robes and he started running faster than he'd ever run in his life. It was his son. He knew it. His son was coming home. He ran and ran and ran until he got to his son. The son thought maybe he was coming to beat him or hurt him, running so fast towards him like that, but the father just pulled him into a great big hug. "Dad," said the son, "I'm not worthy for any of this." But the father was already talking. Come on," he called to his servants. "Get him a good robe, get him a ring for his finger. We're going to have a party." My son, I thought you were dead, but here you are. I'm so happy to see you." The son didn't know what to do. He thought he was going home to be a servant, but he was being treated like a son. "Go and get a calf. We're going to have a big party." A huge party for everyone. And that's what they did. Now, we haven't heard much about this man's brother, have we? The older son. He was watching. He had worked hard on his dad's farm the whole time his brother had been away wasting money. He'd worked and worked, he'd helped, he'd done everything his dad wanted. And now he saw how his brother was being treated. He crossed his arms and he got a frown on his face. "What's wrong?" said his dad. "My brother, he's been and wasted all your money. He took everything and wasted it, and now you're treating him like a prince." "I've been here the whole time," he said grumpily. "I've been working. I've been here. You've never thrown me a party like this. You haven't even given me a small party." "Son," said his dad, "I love you. Everything I have is yours. All of this. Your brother wasted his inheritance, but you've still got yours. Your brother, we thought he was dead, and now here he is alive. We've got to celebrate that." And that was the end of Jesus' story. Now, do you remember that each week we're going to talk about what represents what in the story? So here are your questions today. Who does the father represent? Who does the younger son represent? And who does the older son represent? And the last question is this: who do you think you are in the story? Go and have a chat about those things. I think that the father represents God. I think that younger son is like someone who decides they don't want anything to do with God. They walk away. They take all the good stuff that God gives them, but they take it away and they waste it. And I think that older son is like us, like Christians, who work hard for God and have all the stuff that God gives us and use it well. I wonder who you thought you were in the story. Here's your next question. Think back to the beginning of the story. How do you think the father felt when his son asked him for his inheritance? You know, I think he must have felt really sad. His son wanted him to be dead so he could have his stuff. That is not a nice thing to hear from your child, is it? So why do you think the father gave him all the money? I think that's quite a tough question to answer. When I thought about it, I thought that maybe the father, he wanted the son to be with him because the son wanted to be. He didn't want the son to have to stay for money or to work. He wanted the son to be free to choose. I wonder what answers you came up with though. I think there's lots of ways to answer that question. What about the son? What do you think of the decisions he made? You know, I don't think he was a very good or wise decision maker, was he? And then he decided to go home. He planned all those things to say to his dad. How do you think he expected his dad to treat him when he got home? Whatever he thought, I don't think what's happened was what he expected at all. What do you think of the father's reaction? You know, I think his reaction is amazing. He didn't even try to tell off his son at all. He didn't say anything about the bad stuff his son had done. He just hugged him and told him how much he loved him. That's really cool, isn't it? How do you think the son felt when he got that reaction? And what about all that stuff he got? Do you think the son deserved that big party? Yeah, we talked about how that father represents God and that son represents someone who's decided to walk away from God and come back again. And you know, the thing is, we never really deserve the things that we get from God, do we? But God gives them to us anyway because he loves us. That's really cool, isn't it? What about the older son? What do you think of his reaction? Was it fair? Here's one last question for you. What do you think God wants us to learn from this story? That's the end of Family Sunday for today. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, this is exactly what we've been doing in groups at church this morning. So if you want to come along, you'll know we're doing the same thing. But if you're not feeling quite ready to come along, that's okay. You've still got this to do. These Family Sundays are going to carry on for the rest of September. I hope you've enjoyed today and I'll see you next week. Bye.